Om. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. We are in Jnaneshwari Bhavartha Deepika, chapter 18, verse number 2, OV number 111, and we are looking at the second verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sannyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarvakarmafalatyagam prahustyagam vichakshanaha. And here it was told, renouncing the actions motivated by desire, sarvakarmafalattyaga. The wise know to be renunciation, the abandonment of the fruits of all actions, the learned declare is relinquishment. So this is the point that we are looking at, and we were the occasional works are those which are performed on the festive occasion of solar or lunar eclipse or at the time of offerings to the dear departed. These are the naimittika karma, those which are a must. Nitya karma is the daily activities that you cannot forego, and naimittika karma are special activities which need to be performed according to as our scriptures tell us, and therefore when you do nitya karma and naimittika karma, is there a phala, is there an effect, is there a result? Yes, there is a result. If you brush your teeth, you will not smell. If you take shower, you will not smell. You will be clean. There is a result. See? So what did we tell last week? We said that sakama karma has to be given up. Karma motivated by desire, here it says, is sannyas, isn't it? So if automatically we are going to brush our teeth, if we are automatically going to eat food, is it with desire? That determination is on your part. Are you motivated by the desire for food, or you are eating food only because it's to be done? See, only you can determine that. Nobody else can. What scriptures are telling is nishedha karma, sakama karma, nitya karma and naimittika karma. These are the four types of karma, actions. What is the first one? First one is nishedha karma, that which should not be performed whatsoever. Nishedha. One must stay away from them. What is that? Stealing, collecting, telling lies, kama, krodha, all those are thoughts anyway. Then that was Nishedha karma. When you do that, you are a criminal. If you do that, hell is guaranteed. Nishedha karma. Then next is Sakama karma. That we have already said here. What did we say? Sarva karma phala tyagam. The wise men, here Bhagwan is not saying I say, wise men say. What do they say? He who is performing activity not prompted by desire is a sannyasi. So what is sakamya karma? Sakamya means with desire. These have to be given up. This is the second type of activity. Then third is nitya. I have already explained, on a daily basis you are doing certain activities. And naimittika are special occasions, certain activities like puja, like havan, like tirtha yatra, like ekadashi, like Ganesh Chaturthi, like what is that? Vinayak Chaturthi, etc., etc. Those are special. They are not on a daily basis. So Nishedha karma should be avoided. Sakama karma should not be invoked. Nitya karma you cannot avoid. Naimittika karma you cannot avoid. If you follow Nishedha karma, it will take you to hell. Sakama karma, depending upon wherever your attention is, either you can go to hell or you can go to heavens. But if our goal is yathatmya, our goal is what is the essence, then majority people, they think sannyas means non-performing of activity. Sannyas doesn't mean that. You go look at our Bharti Tirtha from Sringeri, you took look at the Chandrasekhar Saraswati, he was a god living on earth, from Kanchipuram. You see so Shirdi Sai Baba, you see all the great masters, they are doing something or the other. See, sannyas does not mean renunciation of action. Sannyas means renunciation of desire prompted activity. Renunciation means a renunciation of activity with a particular result. Sorry, sannyas means the first one, not the second one. Second one is for the common man who wants to purify, that is tyaga. So desire prompted activities have to be given up. Will you get any, because activity is still going on, will there be a result? Yes, there will be a result. But the sannyasi is not available to the result. See, we will explain it more. Let me see what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying and then we will deliberate upon it. Now in the 111th OV, he says, Athava atithi hanapave he aise pade jai karave taite karma janave naumittika ga. Naumittika is naimittika. Varshiyaksho me gagana vasante dunave vana deha shungari yauvana dasha jaisi का सोम कांतु सोमे पघड़े सूर्ये फांकाती कमळे एथ असे तेची पाल्हाळे आननये तैसे नित्य जे का कर्म तेची निमित्ताचे लाहे नियम एथ उंचावे तेणे नाम नैमित्तिक होय. हाणे सायं प्रातर्मध्याह्नि जे का करणीय प्रतिदिनी परिदृष्टि जैसी लोचनी अधिक नो हे. Now here, I didn't realize, I gave you a bit of idea, but here he is talking about Nitya Naimittika Karma only in these next 5 OVs. What does he say? He says, here he begins at 109th OV. The occasional works are those which are performed on the festive occasions of solar or lunar eclipse or at the time of offerings to the dear departed, like Shraddha, etc. They are Naimittika Karma. They are not Nitya Karma. Or in extending hospitality to a guest. The clouds thunder in the sky during the rainy season, or the trees get into blossoms during the spring, the body becomes comely in youth, or in moonstone oozes the moonstone oozes at the touch of a moonbeams, or the lotuses bloom in the sunlight. In all this, whatever exists originally is revealed. Nothing new is created. Nothing new is created. But what does an individual think? I am a self-made man. If I don't do, who will do it? If I don't do my job, who will do this job? If I don't speak, how will people benefit? It could be, it doesn't come, thank God. See? In all this, whatever exists originally, did the fragrance in the lotus come from outside? Did the beauty in the lotus come from outside? See? This is the chakra. Whatever is there alone is expressing. Similarly, your swabhav. We are talking about swabhav. Swabhav is of who? There is two things, swabhav and swarup. Swabhav is at the prakriti level. So whatever you have programmed your prakriti with, that alone will come. The phobias will come, the laziness will come, rajas tamas, sattva rajas tamas, which whatever your disposition is, that will come, isn't it? But that is at prakriti level. But swarup, does it come and go? The wave comes and goes. Does the water come and go? No. So understand in this manner that in all this, whatever exists originally is revealed. This beauty of the lotus, the blossoming of the flowers, the oozing of the moonstone in the moonlight, etc., all these qualities or all these expressions were inherent within them. The motherhood is inherent within a woman. See? It is natural. Because it is there, it is able to express itself. Similarly, the ability to hear, the ability to see, the ability to taste, smell, etc., to think, to ideate, to conceptualize. All this is there within. That's why it is able to express. Otherwise, how will it express? But for that, what happens to a common person? To an ignorant person, he gets carried away by what is expressing. Are you able to stand apart and watch? Are you? You don't cry if a flower wilts after blossoming. You don't cry when the fruit ripens and falls down on the ground. You don't cry when the deciduous trees drop all their leaves and become skeletons. Why? Why you don't become miserable? Because you know it's cyclical. Again something will come. The nature of the tree is to drop all the leaves so that it can bring out the fresh crop. When you are able to come to this conclusion with regards to the world through these examples, and world is continuously throwing examples at us. Why can't you come to this conclusion with regards to Prakriti that this body is? See? We are at a drop of a hat, we give suggestions to others, Don't laugh too much, misery is following. If someone is miserable, theek hai, very soon this misery will also go away and you will be okay. If someone passes away, let him grieve, then it will be released. And then he will be okay afterwards. If someone is not grieving, then you say, no, make him cry. See, but when it comes to ourselves, we forget all these principles. That all these expressions of words, of knowledge, of understanding, the Nitya Naimittika Karma, they are all inherent. Or to expect that you are going to be happy all the time with regards to body, with regards to mind, you are knocking on a wrong door. Impossible. If your attention is on the Prakriti, Prakriti's nature is ups and downs, it's an oscillation. It's not a straight line. Prakriti is not a straight line. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. One of them is always higher. And it's never the same one. Now to expect it to be the other way, I want one only to be all the time. Not possible. See? So he says, in all these examples that were given, whatever exists originally is revealed, nothing new is created. In the same way, when obligatory work has to be performed on special occasion, it receives the high-sounding name of occasional naimittika action, and whatever requires to be done in the morning, at noon, or in the evening, know that to be the obligatory work of nitya. Just as the eyesight does not contain anything extra added to it. So here we are talking about naimittika karma. And what was the naimittika karma? Occasional works which are performed on the festive occasions of solar and lunar eclipses. And also Hanuman Jayanti, Krishna Jayanti, Ram Janma, etc. So many things, Ekadashi, so many are going on. Those are special ones. So special activity which is invoked. And why it is invoked? Why do we do it? Because the scriptures are telling us to do it. Simple. There is no question. But if you don't do it, what will happen? See? If we don't do it and feel guilty, then big problem. Then you are gone to hell. And all these, because that is karma, that is action, it will give some result, isn't it? It will give some result. Is your attention on the result? Is your attention, are you performing these out of uh, uh, of forgetting to perform them, out of fear of not performing them? Are you performing them because for generations in your family it has been going on? What is your intention? When obligatory work has to be performed on special occasions, it receives the high sounding name of occasional or naimittika karma. Naimittika action, and whatever requires to be done in the morning, noon, and in the evening. What is to be done in the morning, noon, and evening? Technically, traditionally, maybe in cold weather it is not possible, but 3 times bath, 3 times meal, after meals brushing your teeth or washing your mouth, washing your hands, in the morning going to toilet, in the evening going to toilet. All these things are there. Doing your exercise, whatever you have set for yourself. These are which are going on a daily basis. They come under the term nitya karma. Nitya means, here you can say nitya can be regular, nitya can be daily, but here it is also another way. He is saying that work nitya, just as the eyesight does not contain anything extra added to it. Where is it? Whatever requires to be done in the morning, at noon, or in the evening, know that to be the obligatory work, nitya. Obligatory means it must be done. No choice not to do it. Or today it's very cold, I'll just go push and go to work. No option. Nitya means it must, obligatory. Naimittika is special occasions. And they are both expressions of the infinite alone. Because without that infinite, without the conscious principle, these are not possible. See, they are just as the blossoming of the flower is not possible without the what you call, without the reality behind it. It is inherent within the flower to blossom and to wilt away. It is inherent within us to wake up, to dream, to sleep, to wake up, to sleep, to dream. Nothing has been added when we wake up, nothing has been taken away when we go to sleep. What do you mean, sir? In Ishavasya Upanishad you said that when we go to sleep, everything is taken away from our mind. Arey Baba, think on it. That is at one level we told you. But remember, in Ishavasya Upanishad we also told ignorance alone is expressing as Vidya and Avidya. And what is ignorance? That which does not exist but seems to be there. That expression of ignorance is waking, dream, sleep. So has anything been added to you? Has anything been subtracted from you? Can ignorance be taken away from you? Can the waker and the waking world be added to you? No, because they were not there. They are not there in the first place. See? think out of the box a little bit. So for whom is Vidya and Avidya? There in Ishavasya Upanishad, it was for the deluded man, for the one who is taking the world to be real, for the one who is still a doer. See? So just as eyes are, what do you say? Is the world because of eye vision, or is the vision because of the world? Is the vision because of the world, or the world is because of the vision? I'm asking.
The world is because of the vision, Swamiji.
Okay, this is one option. Anyone else?
The vision is because of the world.
Huh?
The vision is because of the world. The other way.
Have you thought about it, or you just want to take the opposite stance from Usha? So you are
Both
saying.
are complementary to each other, and both is one is inclusive, the other is also inclusive because it's finite, Swamiji.
So the world is there, therefore the vision is there.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? He added one more thing, that they are complementary to each other. Okay. Second option. Third option.
It's just a reflection.
Huh?
It's just a reflection, Swamiji. It's like if you go to the mirror and you see, it's exactly illusion.
What is illusion?
The world itself is illusion.
Oh. Okay.
Swamiji, the vision and the world.
Ah?
The world and the vision, without the Atman, or without the I-ness, there is no vision, there is no world.
Exactly. So, is the I because of the world then? Or the world is because of I? What will be the world for a blind person? What will be the world for a chameleon, which has an octagonal eye? But more importantly, what point Jnaneshwar Maharaj is making here is that the vision is illuminating all the forms, but no form is sticking to the vision. It is not identified with any form, isn't it? So here when he says, what is that? Where are we? Here when he says, just as the eyesight does not contain anything extra added to it, or the feet have their natural movement, or the lamp has its natural light, or the sandal has its natural fragrance, this action has its natural prerogative. Which action has its natural prerogative? Nitya karma. It is happening automatically. You don't have to think, now I'm going to see, now I'm going to hear, now I'm going to think, now I'm going to convert thoughts into speech. It's automatic. Same way, Nitya karma are also, they should be automatic. But for kids, we have to train them, we have to go after them, get up, take bath, brush. Are you brushing properly? Did you rinse your mouth after the food? Some adults I know, after food they don't wash their hands. Then he says, what is that? From 116th verse we'll continue. का नापादिता दाम गति चरणी जैसी आथी नातरी ते दीप्ति दीप बिंबी वासुने दिता जैसे चंदनी सौरभ्य असे अधिकाराचे तैसे रूप चीजे नित्य कर्म ऐसे जनी पार्था बोली जेते मानी एवं नित्य नैमित्तिक दोन्ही दाविली तुझ हेची नित्य नैमित्तिक अनुष्ठेय आवश्यक म्हणवनी म्हणो पाहती एक वांझया ते परिभोजनी जैसे होय तृप्तीला हे भूक जाये तैसे नित्य नैमित्तिकी आहे सर्वांगी फळ. He says that or the feet have their natural movement, or the lamp has its natural light, or the sandal has its sandalwood has its natural fragrance. This action has its natural prerogative. It has its natural conclusion. If you bathe, you will be clean. There is no other question. It doesn't depend upon I don't want to be clean after a bath. You cannot have that type of choice. You will be clean. Because these are all default settings. We have trained ourselves. Then he says, this, O Partha, is called the obligatory action, that is Nitya Karma. In this way, I have explained to you both the obligatory and the occasional actions. Some consider these actions as barren. Barren means Vandhyaputra. Can a barren woman give birth to a child? No. Similarly, some people consider these actions to be giving no results. Therefore, they feel, oh, why should I take bath? Why should I brush my teeth? Why should I do this? Why should I do that? And they give up the action itself. Sarva karma phala tyaga does not say give up action. Give up the fruit of the action. And for the sannyasi it was told, let the action not be prompted by desire. But nowhere in both of them it has been said that the action should be given up. Nowhere it is told. Because an individual cannot remain without activity. Some activity will be going on. Waking, dream or sleep. Waking, dream or sleep. Some activity will be going on. Some consider these actions as barren, as they have to be necessarily performed. But as a meal satisfies hunger and makes one contented, so these actions become fruitful. They also become fruitful. When first thing that these actions do is they keep you busy the whole day. If you have to take 2-3 times bath every day, if you have to wash your teeth after every meal and wash your hand after every meal, every time you go out and come in you have to wash your feet. Every few days some festival is coming, you have to do some puja. Every morning after bath, if you have set a discipline for yourself that I must light the lamp, I must chant the Vishnu Sahasranam or Lalita Sahasranam and do some japa and sit in meditation. If you are doing it every day, you don't have to, after some time you don't have to think. If you have been trained from childhood, then you don't think. You just keep doing it. Without awareness, you keep doing it. Therefore, good things should not be given up. One person, he started attending Bhagavatam, and after attending Bhagavatam, he got inspired with these type of talks, and he said, one day he called me to his house and he says, he came to pick me up, and when he was on the way to the Bhagavat class, 20 kilometers, captive audience, then he is telling me that, Swamiji, now I have renounced doing puja. I have stopped lighting lamp. I have stopped doing the आरती. मेरे को मूड ही नहीं करता. मैंने कहा मूड नहीं करता तो करना चाहिए. Because that is desire. You have desired not to do it. Do you desire the world to drop away from your mind when you are going to sleep? Or you are focused on the sleep and the world drops away? This is the difference. We must perform the japa. Suppose we are doing the japa, continuously we start chant loudly till automatically it becomes soft, throat chanting or mental chanting. We must not stop. When that Vaikhari matures, automatically it will go to Madhyama. When Madhyama matures, automatically it will go to Pashyanti. When Pashyanti matures, automatically it will go to Para. When Para matures, it will become Sahaja. See? People say, no, but I want to do it in mind. Remember, Vaikhari is waking, Madhyama is dream, Pashyanti is deep sleep. Para is meditation, Samadhi. So why we are insisting, or scriptures are again and again saying, chant loudly. Then you are awake. Vaikhari is awake, wakefulness. If you do it in your mind, it is like dreaming. When you know, you won't even come to know when you went to sleep. And you won't even come to know when other thoughts come and disturb you. You are busy thinking other thoughts, and the mind, one part of your mind is chanting the mantra, another part of mind is doing something else. Fanciful imagination. There is science behind all this. So he says they have to be necessarily performed. Nitya karma and naimittika karma, they must be necessarily performed. But as the meal satisfies hunger and makes one contented, so these actions become fruitful. Whether it is nitya karma, after shower, before a class, clockwork, I don't have to think. 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, automatically my feet go to the bathroom for shower. Automatic. Every day. Even if I don't have a class. Then I have to remember, yaar, aaj class nahi hai. Why should I take bath? Automatic. Same thing with food. Morning, evening. See? And what does it give? What does eating food give you? Satisfaction. What does satsang give you? Contentment. Thoughts of the higher. You feel that you are on the right path, that you feel that your notion, that you have the disposition that one day it will click by grace of God. Only one click is required. Understanding is taking place. There may be many errors in our thinking, and every time we listen or we talk, those errors automatically, depends upon how alert we are, how vigilant we are, we become aware of the errors. And every day, in every satsang, if only one error is correction means that you become aware that this is where you are going wrong in your understanding. About what? About yourself. Good. Arjuna listened to the whole Gita. In this chapter it will come when Krishna will ask. So, Arjuna says that my delusion has been cut, my misunderstanding has gone away, all my doubts have melted away. I am ready to do whatever is required to be done by your grace. Are we ready to do what is required to be done as life is meeting us every moment? the world is meeting us every moment? Or we are continuously cribbing. Why is it 38 degrees today? 2 days ago it was nice. I could get into, in the middle of the summer, I was inside the Duna. Today I got AC on. Again it's hot. खाना बनाया तो ये क्यों बनाया, वो क्यों नहीं बनाया, अब उसने वो बनाया तो वो क्यों बनाया, ये क्यों नहीं बनाया. Continuously complaining. Are we meeting the world joyfully, without complaints, with inspiration? Whenever this Western adage is empty mind, devil's workshop. Vedanta doesn't say that. Our scriptures do not say empty mind, devil's workshop. Then Buddha will be the biggest devil. Empty mind. Then you are in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Empty mind. Then is that an abode of devil? We keep ourselves with Nitya Naimittika Karma. We keep ourselves so busy with inspiration. With joy we are performing those actions. Voluntarily or involuntarily. Nitya is involuntary, Naimittika is voluntary, special. That no spare time is available for us. When spare time is available, then your mind starts imagining, then your mind starts going into past, then your mind starts expecting something to be done or expecting some result. But when you are continuously busy doing something, busy in some activity, no free time for anything. Mind has to be kept engaged. Without, yes, and here it is told that is a different story, sarva karma phalatyaga. But here understand that nitya naimittika karma do give a result. There is phal. But you are not performing nitya and naimittika karma with a view to get a particular result. You understand? So your obsession is not with the result. You are performing action because it is the right thing to do. You are not performing puja so that my son will get year 12. You are not calling a sannyasi or Mahatma so that it's auspicious and now please bless my children, they will do this, they will do that. Then it's with desire. Your attention is on the result. Your attention is not on the Mahatma whom you are called. You got a hook there, which has prompted you to invite a Mahatma for Bhiksha. Or there is a desire which you want to be fulfilled, because of which you are doing the Sola Somvar of Vrat. You are doing Satyanarayan Puja because your attention is not on Satyanarayan, but because you want the blessings of Satyanarayan for whatever you want in life. See the difference in our intention. So these Nitya Naimittika Karma, they do give results. The moment I go into the shower, automatically Gange chaiva nechaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhum Kaveri Jale Smin Sannidhim Kuru. Automatically it begins. I don't even have to think. And after that, the Guru Stotram begins. After that, Sahasra Shira Shah Purusha. My God, Swamiji, you take such a long shower? No. See? But it's automatic. Now, if these mantras are being chanted, there is some result, there is some vibration, there is some energy. What it is, we don't know, but they are happening automatically. Did I go to shower? Oh, because then I will chant. And if I chant, there will be energy, there will be auspiciousness. And auspiciousness will give me this result. Is that the reason I went for shower? No. You understand? So Nitya Naimittika Karma. So those people who are thinking that they have been introduced to Vedanta, that they are exposed to this this Vedanta, and now they are qualified not to do any karma, they are the biggest fools of the highest order. And they are the biggest fools of the highest order. But this thought must not come that I must perform actions. Again, it is a desire. This thought also must not come that I must not perform actions. Again, a desire. Let it happen. Then you are a sannyasi. (121st OV) कीड आंगिठा पडे तरी मुळू तुटे वाणी चढे यया कर्मा तया सांगडे फळ जाणावे जे प्रत्यवाय तव गळे स्वाधिकार बहुवे उजळे ते तहा तो फळिया मिळे सद्गतीसी ये वढेवरी दिसाळ नित्य नैमित्तिकी आहे फळ परी ते त्यजिजे मूळ नक्षत्री जैसे लता पिके आघवी तवच्युत बांधे पालवी मग हात न लावित माधवी सोडूनी घाली तैसी नोलांडिता कर्मरेखा चित्त दीजे नित्य नैमित्तिका पाठी फळा कीजे अशेखा वांताचे वाणी. He says, when an alloyed gold is burnt in fire, its alloy gets burnt and it becomes pure gold. When what is fire called? The great purifier. So when, if anything is alloy, means when two metals are mixed together. So if something has been mixed into gold, many times you must have experienced that you have bought gold with the premium money, and then when you go to break down that ornament and get some other design made, the goldsmith says, hey, this is not 10 grams, this is only 7 grams. But you say, no, I bought 10 grams. I paid for 10 grams. Then he says, no, the other thing was all mixture. This is what is come out after heat treatment. So what happens? What does fire do? It purifies. So here it says, when an alloyed gold is burnt in fire, the pure gold and the alloy become separated, become distinct. It becomes pure gold. Such is the case with these actions. So what is the purpose of action again? Answer. What is the purpose of action?
Purification.
Purification. That is right. The only purpose of karma is purification. And I explained to you last week the process. The second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth chapter, sixth chapter of Gita. Yesterday also I told you, I think. See? So only purpose. Nitya Naimittika Karma has only one purpose. Purification. Purification. Now, the problem, if I don't know if Jnaneshwar Maharaj addresses, if he doesn't address, I'll tell. Such is the case with these actions. because of them the mental defects are destroyed, the spiritual status of the doer improves, and he attains to a perfect state. Even though these actions come to such good fruition, their fruit should be abandoned like the child born under an inauspicious star. Before we go ahead, let's address this point. What is that point? The point is, such is the case with these actions. Because of them, the mental defects are destroyed. So, when we are performing actions, right now I am speaking, it's activity taking place. You are listening, activity is taking place. You are seeing, activity is taking place. Where is your attention? Is your attention on the world? Is your attention to give this knowledge to others and judge them and declare that you are the wise one? Or is our attention within, not without? If our attention is within, then every action can become an impetus for our purification, because we are so vigilant, we are so alert. Not about what is going on as a result of our actions in the world, but we are so aware that whatever action is taking place, what is its impact on the mind? You must have heard me saying many times that I am not teaching you, I am teaching my own mind. If I teach you, very quickly the ego will come up that without me they are ignorant, that I am the reason that they have this knowledge, that I am great, that I am wise. And there begins the fall. See? But if our attention is inside, we also say one thing, whether you understand or don't understand, who cares? You must have heard me saying this word many times. Who cares? That who cares is, do you care about what happened in the dream? It's who cares? It was only imagination. Same way, if even at this moment when the interaction is taking place and I am speaking, is my attention on my mind, what is going on within my heart? Then it will not matter what you understand or don't understand. But if my attention is on you, someone's look might distract me, someone's expression on the face, a doubtful expression on the face, or a sarcastic expression on the face, or a yawn, or someone is sleeping, all that can get affected. I can get affected, no? If my attention is there. That means my speech, this lecture, was for the world, it was not for myself. I may be saying it, who cares, and giving all these wise words, but if I am getting affected by what is going on outside, it leads to the conclusion my attention was on the outside and not inside, within. I was not self-introspective. So, when we are doing Nitya Karma, is our attention on the phala, on the result? Oh, I took shower, oh, yeah, so clean now. No, I should, but I don't have any siddhi, no fragrance. Ocha, push, now siddhi. Swamiji, you are smelling very good. Mooladhar khul gaya. कौन सा मूलाधार? हो, सैंडलवुड वाला स्प्रे. See, so while you are taking shower, when you are brushing your teeth, when you are going to toilet, when you are eating your food, when you are walking, whatever activity you are involved in, is your attention within? Is your attention on the name of the Lord? Is your attention on the conscious principle? Is everything happening? Is all activity happening in awareness? There's only two things. Either you are aware or you are not aware. If your attention is on the world, you are unaware. If your attention is on yourself, you are aware. There's no in between. This world, this life that we know, according to Sankhya Yoga, Purusha and Prakriti have come together, isn't it? That Purusha who is expressing through Prakriti, because in Sankhya Yoga, Purusha and Prakriti are separate. Vedanta, it is Abhinna Nimitta Upadan Karan. But in Sankhya Yoga, it is limited. Sankhya Yoga is for the yogis, for the Kundalinis, for the Kriya yogis, for the Ashtanga yogis. They only come to, well, I know myself, others are stupid, come, fall on my feet. If I touch you, your problems will go away. They can get siddhis, this, that, all that is possible. But the fact is, life as we know it is an admixture of Purusha and Prakriti. Now question is, this Purusha alone has forgotten that he is Purusha, therefore he is Jiva. Now he is doing sadhana. And he is told, do Nitya Naimittika Karma. Now he is involved in Nitya Naimittika Karma. Is his attention on Prakriti or is his attention on Purusha? That is the question. When he is performing Nitya Naimittika Karma with attention on the Purusha, he is aware. If he is performing the karma, Nitya Naimittika Karma, and his attention is on the Prakriti, the world, which includes body, breath, mind, intellect, then his attention is on the result. You understand? So make this adjustment. Make this adjustment. This is how Mahatmas live. And if it has not happened, no, but I can't understand what is this Purusha. I am still a Jiva. Okay. Are you the Tamasic Jiva? Are you the Rajasic Jiva or the Sattvic Jiva? So, Nitya Naimittika Karma must bring about purification, due to which this ego, this individual, moves from tamas to rajas, from rajas to sattva, and from sattva he will be able to fall back into himself. From tamas it is not possible to go to the Purusha. From rajas, too much activity and dynamism, it is not possible to go to Purusha, to be the Purusha. From sattva it is possible. Sattva is a state of purity, sattva is a state of clarity, sattva is a state of auspiciousness, sattva is a state of discrimination. See? So, Nitya Naimittika Karma, are they bringing about purification within? Are they bringing about purification? Such is the case with these actions. Because of them, the mental defects are destroyed. So, if we are moving from tamasic to rajasic, rajasic to sattvic, the errors in our understandings are dissolving away. Misunderstandings are being overcome. The more you think about the world, directly proportional to that, your doubts, your confusions, your wrong understanding will increase. The more your attention is on the conscious principle or the divine name, divine Lord, to that extent, directly proportional to that, purity will come about. Purity not of the world, purity of your mind. Because the world is included in your mind. See? It is not that mind is here and the world is there. The Adi Bhautik world, that means the gross world, is part and parcel of the Adi Daivik, which is the mental world. And in that mental world, there is not one world, there are multiple worlds. Because of them, the mental defects are destroyed. Because of what? Because of Nitya Naimittika Karma, if done properly. Doing properly means doing what is required to be done, you do it without any expectation of a result. Attention is within. Then what happens? Where are we? The mental defects are destroyed. The spiritual status of the doer improves and he attains to a perfect state. What is the spiritual status of doer? First he was a tamasic doer, then he became a rajasic doer, then he became a sattvic doer. And coming to sattvic state, he comes to realize that there is no doer. And he focuses on the higher and the doer vanishes. When does the doer vanish? If he is thinking, Aham Brahmasmi, he is still doing. He is still a doer because he is thinking, he is a thinker. That thinker also has to go. That thinker is a sattvic thinker who is thinking, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham. He is still considering the goal to be separate from himself. Therefore, he is communicating. Do you keep saying, I am the body, I am the body, I am the body? Do you keep saying, I am the mind, I am the mind, I am the mind? Do you keep saying, I am, I am, I am? Then why you have to say, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi? Because you have not had the direct experience. You know it is the truth. You are convinced about it, but not fully convinced yet. The Mahatmya, the greatness of that statement has not sunk in completely. Still the attention is on Aham Brahmasmi. The realization hasn't happened that Aham and Brahma are one and the same. Brahman are one and the same. The impact of that statement has not taken place yet. The impact that you are a woman, but the moment you come in front of your husband, do you have to think, now I should be wife? Or it happens spontaneously? It happens spontaneously, isn't it? Then very next moment your daughter comes, do you have to think, now I must give up the wifehood and I must invoke the mother? Or does it happen spontaneously? Then why, when you are in the presence of Brahman, why you have to keep saying, I am Brahman, I am Brahman? Why is it not spontaneous? Conviction is lacking. Conviction is lacking. You are here in these two relationships, you have not given yourself any doubt of error. You are convinced beyond doubt. And yet when you come to Vedanta, we break that conviction of yours. Yet you are convinced. But when we come to Aham Brahmasmi, we continue doubting that if I become one with Brahman, then what will about my children? What about my husband? What about my work? What about my patients? What about my boss? What about my employees? What about my loan? My wife doesn't work. How will she pay? She doesn't do banking. How will she handle everything if I become Brahman? Somewhere some hook to the world is still there. That's why Aham Brahmasmi is not resulting. But you keep exposing, one day by grace it will click. Spiritual status of the doer improves and he attains to a perfect state, even though these actions come to such good fruition. Their fruit should be abandoned like the child born under an inauspicious star. Just like today it has become a fashion. This is Kali Yuga. What is the fashion? To look at an eclipse is a fashion nowadays. क्या होता है? कुछ नहीं होता. कर लो भैया, फिर मरो. But we were told from childhood, never look at an eclipse. All negative energies, they enter you at that time. So just like wrong deeds should not be performed, Nishedha karma should not be performed. Remember, those actions which are not sanctioned by the scriptures should not be performed. Those actions which are criminal in their expression should not be performed. Same way, attention on the fruit of our nitya naimittika karma, that should also be abandoned. That should also be abandoned. The spring makes the creepers blossom and the mango trees bear abundant foliage, but goes without touching them. The spring comes, the flowers bloom, the fruit, but does it affect the tree? Then the fall comes, the tree, I gave you this example before, the leaves fall, but does it affect the tree? No, tree continues to be the tree. In the same way, one should perform these obligatory actions without transgressing their limits, but treat their fruit as worth forsaking like vomit. So don't get excited. I did puja for so long. I felt very nice. It was ecstatic. That bhajan was so beautiful. Can you repeat it again? Can you repeat it again? It's only temporary. That gulab jamun is so nice. Oh, it was so divine, as if I am in heaven. Can I have one more? Can I have one more? Can I have one more? After the fourth or fifth, all of it comes out as the vomit. It cannot give you permanent joy. Same way, our attention, our desire for the fruit of the action of Nitya Naimittika Karma should be given up completely, like the vomit. Just abhor it. Just be indifferent to it. No attention, not even one thought must go towards what am I going to get in return. If this thought goes, I have done puja and do Rudra Abhishek and Shodoshopchar puja of the Lord for last 20, 30, 40 years. By God's, we say like this, no? By God's grace, I have been able to do all this. When we say like this, our attention is not on the Lord. Our attention is on, I have been able to do all this. The attention is on the ego. That how pure I am, how sattvic I am, how blessed I am. This is sattvic ego. This also has to be given up. When can you give up? When you are performing. Don't put your collar up that I am doing puja every day. When you do puja every day, then it becomes an obsession. And if one day you are not able to do it, all hell breaks loose. Remember, all your rules that you follow, Nitya Naimittika Karma, they should be followed on a daily basis when you are at your home. When you are traveling, they should be, when you are outside your home, they should be followed 50% if, depending upon the situation. If you are in someone's house, then click into their lifestyle rather than make everyone in the house run around because you want to do your puja. They sleep till 9 o'clock, you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. अरे मेरे लिए कोई फ्लावर्स नहीं है, मेरे लिए पानी गर्म नहीं किया, मेरे लिए कॉफ़ी नहीं बनाई, मैं I get up at 5 o'clock, I do puja. And the whole household will think, कहाँ से आ गया ये, अगली बार इसको नहीं बुलाएंगे. And when you are with Mahatmas, you should follow zero Nitya Naimittika Karma. You follow what the Mahatma tells you. Be a kamandalu in his hand. Kamandalu, the water in the kamandalu goes whichever way the master walks. It has got no self-will, no free will. We should be also like that. See? क्या टाइम हो गया? So do not be obsessed with these Nitya Naimittika karmas. They must be performed, no doubt. But for any reason, we are unable to perform them, one must not feel guilty. One must not feel that, oh my God, I am so dirty the whole day. Sabotage. Enjoy the dirty. You are a dirty Brahman today. Yesterday you were a clean Brahman. But treat their fruit as worth forsaking like vomit. If sometimes we do puja, sometimes we have done such havan, or we have done pilgrimage, people come and touch your feet because you have gone to Kailash. You think they are touching your feet? They are touching, those people who are touching your feet, their attention is on Kailash Bhagwan. If you had not gone to Kailash, does anyone touch your feet? कुत्ता भी शूशू नहीं करता तुम्हारे पैर पे. See? But we, I am a Kailash return. I have done all the Jyotirlingas. I do meditation every day. People don't know that, but I do meditation every day. I've been to Kailash so many times. Because our attention is on the result. And when our attention is on the result, ego becomes strong, because it is what every action will give a result. And how do we interact with the result, How do we interact with the result?
Likes and dislikes.
Yes, raga or dvesha. Either we like the result or we dislike the result. If we like the result, an impression is formed. If we dislike the result, impression is formed. If we like the result, we are happy. If we dislike the result, we are unhappy. But the fact remains, if your attention is on the result and you accept the result as a like or a dislike, you have created an subconscious impression. That subconscious impression, in the right circumstances, will erupt as a desire. The purpose of karma, nitya or naimittika, is to purify. Purification means there are no desires erupting to express as actions. You understand? We have to exhaust. And the example given, I don't know where. Where is that? The example is, where it came I can't remember, but somewhere it came, that when a rope is burnt, a rope can tie you, but if the rope is burnt, it retains the shape, but it cannot tie you down. That becomes the status of desire as a result of purification. That the desire is unable to tie you. Because how do you know there is a desire? Only by thought, isn't it? See, continuing in the 126th verse. यया कर्म फल त्यागाते त्यागो महणति पैजाणते एवं त्याग संन्यास तूते परिसविले हा संन्यासु जय संभवे तय काम्य बांधु न पावे निषिद्ध तव स्वभावे निषेधे गेले आणि नित्यादिक जे असे ये ते येणे फल त्यागे नसे शिर लोटलिया जैसे येर आंग मग सस्य फळपाकात तैसे नेमालिया कर्मजात आत्मज्ञान गिवसीत अपैसे ये ऐसिया निगुती देनी दोनी त्याग संन्यास अनुष्ठानी पडलेगा आत्मज्ञानी बांधती पाटू. He says, the learned men call this abandonment of the fruit of action as relinquishment. So what is tyaga? Tyaga is when your attention is not on the fruit of the action, but your attention is on action, but not on the fruit of action. And what is sannyas? Not performing action prompted by desire is sannyas. So I have explained to you the nature of both renunciation, sannyasa, and relinquishment, tyaga. Should I repeat again the difference between sannyasa and tyaga? Sannyasa is performance of action not prompted by not prompted by desire. And relinquishment, tyaga is performing action, but attention is not on the fruit. In this, the difference is, in tyaga, your attention may be on the, or is on the activity that is taking place. But in sannyasa, whether the activity takes place or the activity doesn't take place, it doesn't matter to the sannyasi, because he is not available to the desire prompted activities. He is sannyasi. And therefore, and what is that state where he is not available to desire prompted activities? He is established in the truth. Mahatmas are like that. But as a seeker, will take one step down. What is that? That sannyasi is he who is attempting to get to that point of self-realization, and in that process, he is become so acutely aware that he does not react to any activity. He does not take ownership of any activity. Now, activity, where is it taking place? Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. So, neither he is available. Sannyas means he is renounced, he is indifferent. He is in the Udasina Bhava with regards to activity, movement at the body level, at the speech level, and at the thought level. If it is happening, it's happening. If it is not happening, it's not happening. He is not available to it. See? And if he is available to the activity, then he is a tyagi, he is not a sannyasi. If he is saying, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, yes, he has come to sattvic state, but he is looking for a result of Aham Brahmasmi. It's like a wife saying, I am a woman, I am a woman, I am a woman. Can she get a result? Can she get a result? She is already a woman. The wave is saying, I am water, I am water, I am water. It's already water, Baba. So what's the point of saying Aham Brahmasmi? Which means there is doubt. The understanding or knowledge is not complete. See? So he's still a tyagi then. He has to relinquish even that thought of Aham Brahmasmi. When the motivated action is renounced, it does not bind, and the prohibited action does not get performed because of its prohibition. When the motivated action means desire prompted activity, when it is renounced, which is a sannyasi, it does not bind the prohibited action. Oh, sorry, it does not bind, meaning the thought that is appearing, it does not bind the sannyasi because he has renounced the desire itself. And the prohibited action does not get performed. And from a sannyasi, as a sannyasi, that disposition, the prohibited nishedha karma will not get performed, because the more pure you are, automatically the integration of the personality takes place. The closer you are to the sun, to the heat, cold cannot have effect on you. Similarly, the closer, the more distance is there between desire and you. Desire is sin. That is the prohibited activity. It cannot affect you because you are not even acknowledging it. It is coming. Remember, witness. If thoughts are coming and going, you are not you are aware they are there, but you are not affected by them. Same way. So this sannyasi, and the prohibited action does not get performed because of its prohibition. Nishedha karma is not performed because of the sannyasi's proximity to his essential nature. He is a sannyasi not because he has renounced desire prompted activity. He is sannyasi because he is in love with the self. He is in love with the divine. Desire prompted activity is only the you get a cow not for cow dung, you get it for milk. Cow dung is bonus. So when as a human you have got the human birth and you fall in love with the divine, that is your purpose, and the bonus is non-performance of prohibited activities. Non-performance of desire prompted activities is the it automatically happens. Just like when you are falling into sleep, all the thoughts of the world automatically leave your mind. You don't think about leaving anything. Same way, desire prompted activities, they leave you, they get rooted out of your mind in toto. This does not happen when you are thinking. When the sannyasi is established in his essential nature, then it will happen. If it is one step less, then he is at the threshold. If it is one step less, he is in the sattvic. There the individuality is still there, a seeker is still there. Seeker has to vanish, no? That seeker itself is the thinking that I am a seeker itself is an error in his disposition. He has to come to this realization that aham brahmasmi without a thought. And after that, if thought appears of aham brahmasmi, it does not matter to him. Just as when the head is cut off, the body falls down, so with the relinquishment of fruit, the obligatory action gets destroyed. When our attention is not, see, a majority of the people are doing disservice to themselves. So many Mahatmas where Grahasthas are still today in Grahastha, as a Grahastha. And they are Mahatmas. They have realized. Then where are we going wrong? Because our attention is on the fruit of our duty. If I don't do, is it not my duty as a wife? Is it not my duty as a brother? Is it not my duty as a husband? Is it not my duty as a child, son or daughter? You are afraid of what the world will say. You are afraid of the guilt of non-performance of your duty. Your attention is on the result. What will the other think about you? What will the children think about you? What will the husband or wife think about you? What will be what the parents think about you? And it doesn't stop there. What will the world and society think about you? इसको बोलते हैं अपने लिए कब्र खोदना, digging your own grave. After digging the grave, jump into it and cover it. We'll close the topic here today. We'll open the grave next week and come out of it. But this is the mistake we are doing. We don't understand that the ultimate duty as a human being is to realize that you are essentially divine. That we are not ready to pursue. We are ready to pursue in the name of our attachments, giving validity to our emotions, attachments, obsessions, infatuations. And how do we give validity? In the name of duty. And get obsessed with that, get obsessed with nitya karma, get obsessed with naimittika karma in the name of duty. Keep performing it, but don't give attention to the result of that. Don't become obsessed with it. What it is, how it is, we will continue next week from 128th OV in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om.